UnBadding, we're UnBadding, baby. We're on a journey, baby. We're UnBadding, baby. We're UnBadding.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of UnBadding. I'm Jessica Presley.
And I'm Dayna Pereira.
Dayna, here we are, another week. We have lived to tell the story of Hurricane Hillary.
I don't know how we got through it. I had a tree fall in the yard.
Gas.
Nay, a leaf or two. No, there was actually a branch that had fallen in the yard. And I'm pretty sure that my dog could have picked it up in his mouth and just like run around with it. So it wasn't a big deal.
A whole branch.
A whole ass branch.
Well, I am really glad that my husband spent all of 2 hours bringing everything from the outside to the inside so that our whole entire yard did not blow away in the gusts of the hurricane.
So honestly, I thought, like, should I be more afraid of this? So on Saturday, I was like, I keep getting like all of these news articles because fear media, you know, they're basically the same thing. And I was like, should I be afraid of like what's happening? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to lower these umbrellas. And then I'm going to go have dinner with my friend and have some drinks.
You know what? I had the exact same thought as you. I text a close friend of mine that lives down the street, and she's like, you know, a bit older than I am and, you know, has more life experience. And I thought, I'm going to text her and see, like, is my worry meter on point or not? And so I text her and I said, hey, I just kind of want to see if I need to recalibrate my level of worry. What do you think? Like, what are you doing to prepare? And she said, Jess, do you have an AM radio that operates on batteries? And she said, I have 3. I'm going to bring one by your house when I'm done eating dinner. And I was like, wait a minute.
She didn't invite you into her cellar?
She didn't. But I invited myself. Don't worry. Okay. I said, so wait, what do I need that for? And she was like, cell service, power, whatever goes out. You need to know what's going on in the world. And I was like, save yourself the trip. I am going to just come to your house if that happens because I could walk there.
Yeah.
Or drive my car, which, you know, I would probably do more so. So yeah, I had clients telling me they were filling up their bathtubs with water in case the water was shut off and they wouldn't be able to flush their toilet if we didn't have clean drinking water. Another one of my clients who happens to be from Pittsburgh, her father is like a total doomsday prepper, and he was telling her to go to Home Depot and buy a generator. And he was like, scratch that. It's probably too late. They're sold out. I know they're sold out.
Well, so luckily for me, my husband owns a construction company. So we have pallets of water and a generator right here.
Good to go.
And I told him, I was like, do you want to bring that generator home? And he was like, no. If anything happens, I'll just go to the office and get the generator. He was not worried about it at all. And as it turns out, I woke up on Sunday morning when the hurricane was supposed to be hitting us here in California. We had no idea what to expect. California has seen a hurricane like never. So I don't even think we've seen rain in August, to be honest.
No, it's been quite a rainy year for us, though. It really has. And to be quite honest, like the full day Sunday, it was kind of like drizzling for most of the day.
It was a drizzle.
It was a drizzle. There was a moment, and by a moment, I mean a very brief moment, where some rain was coming down and we could hear some wind, but it was fleeting.
So the wind for us happened a little bit later on in the night. I sat outside. My kids danced in the rain, ran around in the rain. I drank my coffee outside, like listening to the rain. I meditated in the rain. It was like, I was like, this hurricane is lovely.
Thank you, Hillary.
Yes. I am a fan.
I am a fan of Hillary. Well, yes. I mean, I think that, you know, the desert areas definitely were affected a bit more by the abundance of rain.
And the mountains.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough go there. But Southern California, beach towns, San Diego, LA, not really that big of a deal.
No, we have all survived. In fact, the boy's dad sent a picture of like a white plastic chair tipped over that said, "We will rebuild."
Yeah, that's like pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. So, Hurricane Hillary for us, I mean, it was supposed to be bad. It wasn't that bad. But I have a little does she know for you this week.
It's been a minute. I'm excited.
Yeah, we had some other shit going on, so I haven't been able to play this game with you.
I know. Okay. What do I know or not know? I wonder if I know. I hope I know.
I hope you do know, because this is a really big one that the whole world knows.
Crap. I'm going to make myself look like an idiot if I don't know.
I bet you do.
Okay.
Did you know?
Nervous. Why am I nervous?
That Britney Spears' husband has filed for divorce.
I didn't even know she was married. I'm like, is that Kevin Federline? Is that who she was married?
Yes, it was 15 years ago.
I did not know that Britney Spears' husband has filed for divorce.
Oh, so they've been married for like 14 months.
Oh, that's short.
And he has accused her of stepping out of the marriage. He has accused her of cheating on him. And it's big news right now because the whole reason, well, one of the reasons that she wanted out of her, did you know that she was in a conservatorship?
I didn't with like her dad, that whole situation, right? Yeah.
Okay, there was like a whole Free Britney movement.
Yes. I remember.
I have to remember that as I'm telling you this, that I have to take the last 12 years of her life and also update you on that.
Yes,
Oh,
accurate.
shit.
Yeah, I'm totally off the radar.
Well, unfortunately, her social media seems to be, what's a really polite way of putting this? It is worrisome. Her mental health doesn't seem to be in the best place.
Is she intoxicated?
I couldn't tell you. I do think that if you were to go, in fact, I encourage you to go to her page and just scroll through all of her videos.
My heart's like already breaking.
It's really
I just want
sad.
to give her a hug. I feel like her mental health has always been a bit of a struggle. And as somebody who also like can empathize with a struggle of mental health, like I've struggled with anxiety for years, as long as I can remember, even as a child. And so like I just really feel for her. I wish she had a team of people and a group of people around her that just wanted to like elevate her and love her and help her back to health.
I do too. And I mean, I obviously don't know what has gone on in her life, any medications that she's been on or is on or anything, but it definitely kind of feels like maybe not all of the lights are on.
Well, yeah, she's struggling with her mental health. I feel like we have all been kind of like in the front seat watching from very early on in her career, the decline.
Yeah.
And it's like, it almost feels like this like roller coaster, of like times where like she seems like she's glued back together and she's kind of her whole self, and then things kind of fall apart, and then she comes back together and things kind of fall apart.
I had a whole ass fantasy about her and I being the best of friends because we both had babies at the same time.
Definitely the reason to be the best of friends.
I was like, I get you, girl. I understand what you're going through without the millions of dollars, but same.
Right. It's definitely the same.
So I've always felt like this like kinship with her. And she has no idea I exist. But if I were in her life, I'd like to think that I would try and steer her in the right direction, but who knows if she's even able to be steered at this point.
That is such a good point, because there are definitely people that have been in my life that have needed help and I've wanted to help them, and they just weren't in a place to accept it either. So I just hope that the people that truly love her are there to support her. And, you know, if she's pushing them away right now, that they're still going to be there for her when she's ready for the help.
Yeah. Hopefully, man, I was like trying not to bring up a different situation because I thought that it might bring the show down, but then I just really brought the show down. Did not think I could do that with some Britney Spears, but I did it.
Oh, you did it.
I've done it.
Congratulations. You've won the Debbie Downer Award.
Yeah. Yay! So this week, we're like kind of getting into the season. I mean, it's not quite fall yet. Kids have just started back to school.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Hallelujah. And football season is around the corner.
Yay.
Okay, can you try that again, please?
Wah, wah.
I mean, I don't want to scream into the microphone, but I am very excited for some football season. I love me some football season.
I know that you do. And I love that your passion for the Steelers has continued on through all 20 plus years that you've been in California. I think that's super,
Got my Steelers shirt on
super
right now.
fan-like of you.
Yeah, it is. You know what's funny is because I live in San Diego, people accuse me all the time of being a bandwagon fan, a fair weather fan, like all of those things. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I am from Pittsburgh. Like I have to actually defend my stance of being a Steelers fan.
Well, and like I have not followed football probably since Shay, who's almost 8, has been born. And like I'm pretty sure that like the last 5 years they haven't done much of anything. So I don't know what fair weathering you're doing.
I'm telling you, especially on social media, people will see me in my Steelers shirt. Immediately they want to attack me like, oh, you just jumping on the bandwagon. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was born into a terrible towel.
I was born on this bandwagon, okay?
Yeah. I did not get a choice if I wanted to live while I was in Pittsburgh.
That's true. You had no choice. Nor did I. I totally absorbed the football culture whenever I lived in Pittsburgh.
You did. And I'd like to hear about why you're kind of on a break. Like, why did you
It's
and
not
Ross
a break.
and
It's a hard sever.
Okay. All right. Why are you severed from football?
So just to clarify, I'm not anti-football. I'm not anti-Steelers. I feel like, yes, it's entertainment factor. People enjoy it. It's something to do on Sundays. There's a whole culture around it. That being said, I truly kind of started to despise football in direct relation to my husband.
Oh, is this one of those, what do they call them? Football widows kind of a thing.
Ish. You know, it kind of started out as like a jealousy factor whenever we had our daughter. There was like never 3 consecutive hours that I could sit down and do anything at all. Right. And so I was a bit envious that my husband would still find time to carve out. It was like, do not fuck with Sunday mornings at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And still to this day. And I think that my disdain for football, specifically in relation to him, comes from how much passion and love he has for it by comparison to other things in his life that I think should be way more important and more prioritized than football.
I mean, I understand that. I also can kind of relate to him a little bit. Like my kids, my husband, they know Sundays, 10 a.m. or 1 or whenever they're playing, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
I'm sitting outside and my husband has to take a back seat to he also loves football. He also loves to watch the Steelers. But because they're my team.
Right. Well, if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was a Chargers fan. He was definitely coming to the dark side.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, my kids know. In fact, my kids will be like, Mom, can you stop yelling so much? And I will look them in the eyes and say, no, I cannot. I cannot and I will not. This is mommy's time. I do everything for you guys all week long. I'm going to yell at this TV and it's going to feel good.
It's like, I don't yell at you, so I will yell at it.
Listen, I am going to yell like they can hear me, and like what I say matters.
And like what shirt you wear matters and is a direct correlation to if they will win or not.
I'm sorry, are you trying to tell me that it doesn't? Because
Because Dave's like, don't wash this jersey. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to wash the good juju off of it.
So I've gotten over that ritualistic part of loving football because I took meds for OCD and that really, really helped.
I'll send some his way.
Actually, I'm lying. I did not take meds for OCD. I took meds for depression, and it turns out it helped with OCD, and that is how I discovered that I had OCD.
Yeah, well,
So I'm not very ritualistic about stuff. Like if I don't wear the same shirt or not clean my underwear or
like have to drink the same beer every time you watch a game.
yeah, or sit in the same spot like Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. Do you
Right.
know who that is?
I actually do, I
oh my
think.
God, I'm so proud of you.
It's kind of like a nerdy show.
yeah,
Yeah. I
okay.
know that one.
So no, I don't do those things anymore. I also used to really let the outcome of the game affect my mood.
Grr.
And I don't do that anymore either. I'm like, it's a game. It's players on a field. They did what they did, and this affects my life 0%.
Yeah, it affects your life 0%. So early on in my marriage, Dave and I were very much like Steelers versus Bills. My husband's from Buffalo.
Your wedding was Steelers versus
It was
Bills.
Steelers versus Bills. There was definitely a theme whenever we like met. The thing that we would do is like we would love to lay around on the couch all day and watch football for hours and hours. Would I still do that if I didn't have children interrupting me? I don't know. I definitely can look back on those times with like fond memories of it being like chilly and having the windows open and just kind of being lazy and laying around and watching football. That was a good time. But as time had gone on, I feel like I realized that football took up so much of his time. And I know for you, it's kind of like this like Sunday 3-hour ritual.
Yeah.
But for myself and my husband, now, you know, I've mentioned on the show before, our family was created through adoption. We are a transracial adoption family. We had a huge, and still have a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a opportunity for growth and learning. There was so much about parenting we didn't know. There was so much about adoption we didn't know. There was so much about transracial adoption that we didn't know. And I had like a really hard time with football because all of his leisure time was focused on solely the Bills. My husband, and not even solely the Bills, I take that back, solely football.
Yeah.
And my husband is the guy who is like stats, right?
Ooh.
He knows the who, he knows the when, he knows the time, he knows the college, he knows the distance, like he knows all the things.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not the only woman that feels this way.
Totally.
But I feel like if you spent a third of the time focused on the things in our family that is important, like educating yourself on racism, educating yourself on adoption, educating yourself on behavior and parenting styles and things like that, things that we were challenged with in our day-to-day life. If you spent half as much time on that, if you even split the difference with football, I would have been happy. But I know that my husband and many other men out there really allow that to be their tunnel vision.
Yeah, it's there's a balance there that, like, for example, I watch the Steelers. I don't give a shit about any other team out there. If they're on, I'll put it on in the background. I don't even watch the Super Bowl unless the Steelers are in it, because that is prime time for going to the wineries. Nobody is there.
Nobody's there.
So like, well, nobody's at the wineries right now. I can go and really enjoy my day. But I do think that there is almost an obsession. And I think it's funny because as a woman who loves football, and there's many, many women out there that love football, but guys almost sometimes make it a competition. They're like, oh yeah, you like football? So who won the 1973 Super Bowl? Who was the quarterback? And you're like, I wasn't living in 1973 and I just don't give a shit.
See, this is a good point that you bring up because I believe, and I'm just going to be like hated on this whole episode. I already know it. And I'm sorry. I love you guys. I'm sorry. You're just going to hate me today. It's fine. I feel like football, sports in general, let's say sports in general.
Sports ball.
Woohoo. I feel like, gosh, it's such an opportunity for men to remain shallow. It's like when they get together, men aren't talking about real life things. Men aren't talking about their experiences. Men aren't talking about the heart of the matter. Men are exchanging stats. And now, if you've ever watched ESPN, which I have many a time,
I have not.
it is legitimately on repeat. They say the same thing over and over in a different way. So you have no choice but to memorize the stats.
Right. It's like teaching a kindergartner how to read. It's repeat.
Right.
Repeat,
but it's
repeat.
all smoke and mirrors. Like if I'm just focusing on this, then what am I really distracting you from? We can keep men to remain shallow and not like be in their heart space and be a part of their families and be vulnerable and emotionally intimate and emotionally available for their families because they are so wrapped up in football, baseball, soccer.
I hear what you're saying, but I also see another part of that where they are being vulnerable. I have watched grown-ass men cry.
Oh, God, give me a fucking break. Over a sport?
There is a sense of community there.
But if
There
you cannot
is
sit across the table from your wife and cry over how you feel in your marriage, but you can cry over a football, I'm sorry, I can't buy it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if they are capable of spending a certain amount of time, not their entire being, on football on Sundays, there is a community there. There is a shared experience. There is excitement. There is like this really sense like of belonging
Sure.
with other people. And if you have the capability of setting boundaries within, like just because somebody watches, let's say 3 hours of football on Sunday, I mean, they're still allowed to have their time
Sure.
to have for themselves to watch something that they love that brings them joy. Now, there's a difference between doing something that you enjoy, that you love, that brings you a sense of community and belonging with a mass group of people, and making it an obsession. So I can understand that if it is somebody's obsession where they're spending, 10 a.m. until 10 p.m., they're only focused on this, then they want to talk stats, then they want to do their fantasy football league, then they have to figure out who was injured and they have to trade people in and out, and how that could take away time from the family. Totally get that.
I think that's pretty common though.
But I don't think that that is for everybody. Like, I don't have that in my household at all. I can't recall anybody in particular. Like, my friend's husband is pretty into sports, but he spends a lot of time with family too. It's not like just sports ball and nothing else. So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the sense of community that you get with like cheering a team on with other people that want them to win as badly as you do. There's like that community.
I guess I think that if you are balancing your personal affairs and your work affairs and your sports ball affairs,
Sure.
and all the needs are getting met, then fine. I guess my personal experience and the reason that I have like such a strong feeling around it is that that wasn't the case. And that spending 3 hours uninterrupted on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, not to get like too like fully disclosed about my personal situation at home, but like my kids together for 3 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
And for him to check out after now it's different now. My kids are in school, but I'm
Right.
talking about of the age when they were like young and I was home all day with them. For him to check out for 3 hours on a Sunday, I was like, oh, hell no. And then go off to the bathroom for an hour twice a day and be like, that's like 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 hours plus 3 hours on a Sunday. We're talking 17 hours a week. That is a part-time fucking job. Yeah. He was not getting paid for this.
And neither were you.
And neither was I. It was a part-time job. And I'm like, oh, hell to the no.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm stranded over here on an island by myself. I need some help. Check back in.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I also agree with that. That is too fucking much. And if my husband was spending any amount of time, I mean, I would almost consider that cheating. Like,
That's how I felt. It was
You
the other
are-
woman.
being unfaithful to me. That is way too much. I don't think that's the experience in a lot of households, but I guess maybe that's because I'm not used to that experience and you are. So we have very different perspectives on this.
It's interesting though, because, you know, that's such a great example of like how we only see our own experiences, because my guess is that that probably happens more often than not. And your guess is that probably does not happen as often as I would assume.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, and again, I fucking love sports ball. I love football. I do. I love it. I can't wait to watch it. I'm really, really, really excited about it. I have never been to a Steelers NFL game.
No?
Mm-mm.
I definitely have. It's a good time.
I am excited about it.
Are you going to go this year? Are they playing up in LA?
They are.
Are they?
And I am going. But one of the things, and this is just another reason that I have grown to love football, was it's what I did with Dad.
Yeah.
Every week. That's what I did. I came home. Did you realize that Dad just had like a revolving door of people?
Yes.
He never told anybody, don't fucking come in my house. If somebody shows up to my house and tries to walk in my door, I am calling 911.
Our dad's house, though, it was like, especially if there was a football game on, it wasn't like, oh, I wonder if Phil's having people over today. It's like, oh, well, the Steelers are playing.
We're going.
Yeah, you don't know what time. You don't need to bring anything. You just show up.
Well, bring your
beer, of course,
Yeah.
because, you know, he only has one selection only.
That's it.
But it was just, there was a big bowl of cheese balls in the middle of the table.
pretzels.
And the house was throughout different parts of the day full and empty, full and empty, full and empty.
Always full and empty. Watching football with Dad is like a special memory to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now as an adult, watching football, I really wanted to have that with my kids. Like I wanted to sit and watch football with my kids. But as it turns out, my screeching at the TV has driven them all away.
Mm-hmm.
I need a lower voice like Dad had. But it makes me feel closer to him.
Yeah.
Whenever one of the last voicemails he left me, and I had it on my phone for so long, and I could kick myself because whenever I got rid of my phone and got a new phone, I didn't transfer the voicemail. He left me a voicemail that went, "Kick ass Pittsburgh." And I can still like hear him say it because I listened to it so many times. But that watching football reminds me of that time. It like makes me feel like I'm with him, like I'm close to him. It's so nostalgic, especially when they're losing. Because I remember the time when fucking Tommy Maddox was the quarterback and we did a lot of losing. Cordell Stewart was the quarterback. We did a lot of losing. So it's like, yeah, I'm a fan when they're losing and I'm a fan when they're winning because it makes my heart swell because I have so many good memories watching football with Dad.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting when you say that. I think about my kids, of course, with their dad. And I don't think it was last year. It was the year before. I had finally come to this place where, you know, the balance was coming into our home around this particular time of year. And I wasn't feeling so much resistance towards the football.
Yeah.
And I finally said at one point, and my husband has been a Bills fan since birth.
Right.
And it was glorious when I was a football fan because they never fucking won.
Never.
And so I could gloat all the time.
But then they started winning.
Right. But then I stopped being a football fan. And in that time, the Bills kind of started getting good.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't call myself a quote unquote Bills fan any more than I am a quote unquote Steelers fan. But my kids like the Bills. And I know that pains you to hear, but they will have that nostalgia with their father same way that you did. And at one point I came around and I thought, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And so I would do all the snacky things, the crabby snacks and homemades. And the kids would be into it because, you know, they love the snacks. And I would put out some beers and, you know, Dave would invite people over and whatever. And so it has become kind of like this, like, well, I guess this is what we do on Sundays now.
Do you enjoy it though?
I mean, no, I don't hate it, but I don't enjoy it. There's many other things I would much rather do, but I see my husband enjoying it. And I see that this is something that he has loved and wanted for so long. I try to like not focus on the things that totally annoy me about it because like you are only allowed to make so much noise and like I can't like talk to him because he has 4 text conversations going on with 4 different groups of people. And every time a play is made, he's texting this person and that person and that person and this person. So like he's very distracted during the game. I'm not really having any quality time with him. I'm just kind of like, you know, in the room.
Now, I will say, so that is a big difference between your household and my household. I text nobody. I call nobody. I don't do fantasy. I watch the Steelers, and I watch them with my husband. And I remember having, oh God, it was like the last 3 seconds of the game, they kicked a field goal. No, the Steelers didn't kick. The other team kicked and they missed. And Joe and I were like, miss it, miss it, miss it. And then they missed. It was like we were fucking wizards, right? Like we jumped on each other. We were screaming, hugging, like, wah! So fucking happy. And I mean, that's like another heart-to-heart situation where you're like...
connection.
Yes, it's connection. And I mean, honestly, I felt like a goddamn wizard.
Yeah, I mean, you were very Harry Potter-esque in that moment.
I said miss it, and then they missed it.
And it was definitely because you said it.
I think it was the power of me and Joe together.
You are a power couple.
We were like the Power Rangers at that point, and we just put our powers together along with the rest of Steeler Nation.
Yes, yeah.
And we made it happen. It was...
That really does sound like a good time. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm coming to your house on Sundays because that sounds like so much more fun than what's going on at my house.
Well, come on over. But, I mean... If you're coming over, you're going to have to be back in Steelers gear.
I still have a shirt. I have a couple.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're not going to use them, I'll take them.
Fine.
But I mean, I will also say being a football fan does have me feeling a little bit like a hypocrite.
Tell me how.
Because I am not for people having brain damage
Right.
and injuring themselves for money. And I mean, there's so much that goes on that field that, I mean, speaking of the Bills, that player last year,
Oof. Yeah.
I hate myself for not remembering his name right now. And Dave is yelling furiously
At me, because I also don't remember. Damar Hamlin.
Oh, okay. Yes. Damar Hamlin. It's funny because I knew it started with an H, the last name. But I kept wanting to say Hampton,
Close. Hamlin.
and he is not a hotel.
No, he's not.
So, but I was watching that game and I watched him get laid out on the field.
Weren't we in Pittsburgh?
No.
No, we weren't in Pittsburgh for Brittany's wedding during that time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant they were playing Pittsburgh.
No. We were in Pittsburgh watching the game. Yeah, I remember being in Pittsburgh whenever it had happened. It was after Brittany's wedding because it was a Monday night game. They were playing the Bengals.
So I was not in Pittsburgh. You were probably still in
I was
Pittsburgh.
still there, yeah.
I was not. I had gone back home. Where was I though? Because I remember seeing it on a TV. But anyways, doesn't matter. Ryan Shazier. I remember him getting laid out on the football field and being fucking terrified.
You know, I didn't even think about this until right now when you were saying this, but Dave and I have a personal friend who used to play for the Chargers, and he also has confided in us a bit about like the injuries and stuff that he sustained in the NFL, that he is still dealing with brain injury stuff to this day. And, you know, he's an amazing person, and it's hard to watch somebody that you care about struggle in real life. Like, it sucks to hear about it in the news and to think about it, but then to watch somebody go through that struggle in real life is just, it's devastating. It's terrible.
It's something different. And I really feel like a hypocrite when that is happening, because on one hand, you're like, these are grown-ass adults that know the risks and they choose to do this thing.
But you're also like incentivizing them with millions and millions and millions of dollars.
So many millions of dollars. You're correct. And I am a part of that problem. And that is where I feel like the hypocrites. But also, on the other hand, I don't think that they are fully aware of what could happen to them in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think that telling somebody that this could happen, it's a possibility, with the carrot that is like literally oozing Benjamins, is very different than living it every day, day in and day out after the fact. I think that you think you know, but you really have no idea.
It's like telling a smoker that they're going to get cancer.
Right.
And the whole time they're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And they're smoking and they're enjoying it and it's fine and everything's great. And then they get cancer.
Right. And then they understand how awful and terrible and painful, and it's hurting their family and it's hurting their friends and it's hurting their children.
It's all of those things. And so I do struggle with that when it comes to watching football. I have said it already 7 times, I think. I love football. I love it. I love watching it. I love eating the snacks for it. I love the community of it. I love the memories of it. I love feeling like I am a part of a team. Like, whenever somebody says on Sunday, oh, how'd you do? And I'm like, oh, we won. Even though I didn't step a fucking toe onto that field.
You were a part of it.
I was a part of it. And that feels big. But it's not just with football. It's with soccer. It's with baseball. There's all of the other sports ball things that people have this connection with. But with baseball, they're not worried about brain injuries as much as they are with football.
True. So when you bring up baseball, I immediately think about the Padres and the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Big rivalry here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like taking fandom to another level, because we know that when the Dodgers are visiting, that there's going to be some shit going down. What do you think about whenever fandom gets so explosive that it becomes like a personal attack on the people of the opposing team?
I am so glad you brought this up because it was like on my notes of the things that I think about football. Any teams, really. It baffles me when somebody finds out that I'm a Steelers fan and automatically I'm a fucking piece of shit.
Like they instantly hate you.
Instantly. And I'm like, whoa, that's a circumstance of where I grew up. That's like saying you hate a high school because you know,
The rivalry.
You live in a different part of town. I grew up in Pittsburgh. My ties were to the Steelers. I love the Steelers. They will always be home to me. But if I grew up in Colorado, I'd love the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
If I grew up in San Diego, I probably wouldn't love the Chargers.
But ching.
I would have bailed on them like my
Just
husband
like
bailed on them, like
everybody
they
else.
bailed to LA.
Yep. LA Chargers.
Yeah, but you know, like that has nothing to do with who I am as a person. And a lot of people, and that's one of the things that I used to love, was the shit talking. I would shit talk so much.
Oh yeah. How many times would be like been in bubs and just like talked so much smack to anybody on the opposing team?
So much smack.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel good when you're on the losing side of that.
Sure.
And so as I matured, that's how mature people say it.
True.
I don't make it a rivalry. I also will not watch football with people who do make it a rivalry.
Right.
So the Chargers and the Steelers were playing many years ago. Like probably 8 years ago. And my husband invited his Charger fan friends to the house. The Chargers lost
And
as a shock to nobody.
And you watched it in another room?
No, I watched it in that room, but as anytime they had a good play, the Chargers had a good play, his friend was just like mouthing off to me. And I was like, this is unenjoyable. I'm not trying to get into a fight with you over people that I cannot control.
Right.
And I'm like, if my team wins, cool. And if they don't win, like, I'm going to move on with my life. And next week they're going to play again.
Right.
And so I don't understand the whole, like, you're a piece of shit. I hate you because you root for this other team dynamic.
Right. It's like you can be a fan of an opposing team and still have respect and kindness towards the other person.
And why wouldn't you?
Right.
It seriously makes no sense to me.
See, this just kind of, I'm going to go there, kind
Go.
of goes back to this, like, this culture around football being very superficial. And it's like smoke and mirrors and keep you superficial and make people hate each other. It's kind of like polarizing. You know, it's almost like even politics. Like if you like this person and you don't like that, like we just hate each other and we cannot get along.
Totally.
It's like another opportunity to turn people against each other.
But it's not limited to football.
No.
It's baseball. It's
Sure.
soccer. It's your favorite actor in a movie. It's pretty much all walks of life everywhere. They are trying to turn you against each other.
Right. It's this whole idea of like us versus them. It's always us versus them. It could be men versus women, white people versus black people, the Braves versus I don't know, who's the Braves? They baseball?
I think they're baseball.
Astros. I don't know.
Oh, good. They are baseball.
You know, it's like it's always like this polarity. Like it doesn't have to be us versus them. There can be another option. There can be this mutual respect of like, I see where you stand and this is where I stand. And that's okay.
And I am also the kind of person, as I'm watching football, if I see a good play, whether it's my team or another team, I'm like, damn, that was a good play.
Yeah.
Like, I want to recognize all of it. I want to appreciate all of it. If the other team outplays the team that I happen to be rooting for, I'm like, wow, great job.
What about the people that can't accept the L? And they're like, oh, the ref this, the ref that, we got gypped.
I
Like,
mean, I'm going to say out loud that there's a lot of ref errors.
sure.
And so, yeah, that can actually play into it, and that bugs the shit out of me. And I am definitely the one that's like, oh, are you on the Ravens payroll, ref?
I love that you went right for the Ravens, too.
Because fuck the No, I'm kidding.
Hate everybody in Baltimore.
Fuck them dirty birds.
Isn't that a wing place? They have good wings out here.
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, people that like the Ravens. Or am I?
Ish.
Kind of. No, I really am. But that is like, I mean, the Ravens are one of the Steelers' biggest rivals. The Ravens, the Browns,
Bengals.
the Bengals. Like, yes, all of them. But the thing that I don't love that happens quite a bit while watching football is people cheering for you to take out somebody on the other team.
Oh, no. That is never okay. And in fact, when the other teams go below the belt, I'm just like, tisk, tisk, shame on you. Karma's going to get you. You're
Yeah.
a bad sportsman.
That is bad sportsmanship. And that doesn't make it fun for anybody. Like trying to actually hurt somebody else just because they're on an opposing team. The stakes are not that high. You are still going to get paid millions of dollars.
Right. And the stakes are high for the other person when you're talking about ending their career.
Yes.
If you're going for a low blow or a shot to the head or taking out a knee, that is somebody's whole career.
That's not even their career. It's their life. That's
Yeah.
like every time it rains, they're sore kind of shit, you know? Like, they're like, my knees hurt.
It's gonna rain. I'll never forget the day he took me out by the knees.
Yes. But that is the kind of stuff that I'm like, and it happens on the Steelers too. I've witnessed a couple of times where more than a couple of times, but I've been like, oh, come on, I want to love you. Can
Yeah.
you not do shitty, shady stuff?
Be better. You want to cheer for the team that has like the people that warm your heart. Like the years that I loved the Steelers was like Heinz Ward, Troy Polamalu. Like, how do you ever watch them and not just have like your whole chest expand? They're just lovely, lovely people, lovely to watch, good sportsmen. Like those are the people I want to watch on the field because they're a great example for the younger ones that are looking up to them, and they're a great example. I'm saying younger ones as in like kids,
Right.
but like also like the rookies that are coming into the game for them to be the leaders and to show you the example of like how you carry yourself on a field. Like I feel like that's super respectable.
They both have a really special place in my heart. That smile on Ward,
Ugh,
you
the
just
best.
you cannot beat it. It's the best.
And I think that that's like NFL wide. I don't think that's just like only for Steelers fans.
Oh.
I feel like if you're an NFL fan at all, you know what we're talking
You
about.
know exactly what. And oh my God, whenever he would make a play and that smile, I'm exploding at the moment
I know, I can
because
see
it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I remember the joke whenever Polamalu was playing safety that it was like 70% of the world is covered by water. The rest is covered by Troy Polamalu.
I don't remember that, but that's good.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I
that's good.
actually dressed up for him or as him for Halloween.
remember that.
One time.
Yeah, so
I had
cute.
my Head and Shoulders bottle.
That's cute.
I love him. And if I were to meet him, I would melt into a puddle and cry and embarrass myself.
I was going to say, what would you do if you met somebody? Like, I think that I'm anti meeting celebs or like people that I look up to in that way because I just feel like I'd be like, like I would not know what to do or say.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say what I would say right now.
And then you won't
because-
do any of that if it actually happens.
No.
Okay, what would you say? Ready? Go.
I would want to tell him.
No, you got to like act it out.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Get in character.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm nervous. Troy. Can I call you Troy?
Why, yes, of course.
I just want to say that growing up and watching you alongside of my dad was a fucking honor. Seeing your sportsmanship and your smile and your light and everything that you brought to that team felt like home. And it felt like home, like in my heart and with everybody that I was around. We all could watch and just light up at watching you play.
Well, I hope that someday, somehow, this audio gets to Troy because I know that will never come out of your mouth
No.
the day that you meet him.
No, I would meet
Be like,
him.
hold on, let me get my podcast so I can tell you what I wanted to tell you.
I would say some dumb shit like, "Can I touch your hair?"
I dressed up like you once. I had a Head and Shoulders bottle. You want to see a picture?
I have a picture. I still have his jersey.
Oh, I think I have a Polamalu jersey also, or Ward, or
You
both.
have Ward. You better have Ward.
I have Ward, and I think I have Roethlisberger
Because
too.
you
I
have
think
the-
it was Dad's.
You had. It was the Ward jersey that
Was Dad's? Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely have
That's
that
why I
one.
was like, you
better have that. Yeah, it's in the closet. Yeah, it's in there.
But I mean, again, I understand that there's a lot of problematic things that can come with football. Like there's football widows and there's, all the brain damage and injuries and
Yep,
stuff like
yep.
that. But I do think there's a lot of good things that come along with it too. Have I warmed you up to the idea at all?
You know, when you talk about it in like remembrance of Dad and thinking about us growing up with Dad, it definitely like brings back the warm and fuzzies. Again, like watching football in my house is just not fun. So like I'm not really like looking
Leave
forward.
Dave at home.
Bring the kids and come to your
my
house.
in your Steelers shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Bring an extra for me.
Okay. Okay.
I
I'm
have plenty, but still.
understanding options.
Yeah. The only thing is, I will feel very guilty trying to get your girls to end up Steelers fans.
Well, they really love themselves some Joshy right now. I think
Okay.
they both have a crush on him.
All right.
And I couldn't tell you one single solitary player on the Steelers. So they have a long.
Well, we got Kenny
road.
Pickett. He's the new quarterback.
Couldn't tell you.
He's cute. He's cute.
He's cute like Joshy.
Yeah.
I guess Kenny, that's cute like Joshy.
Yeah.
My husband's going to listen to this and be like, hell no. And then he'll be like, leave him at home. And I'll be like, okay, I guess I'm going to Dayna's.
That is the whole plan.
That is the plan.
So, Davey, it is time for you to make some memories, some special, special memories
Heartfelt.
with your girls. And Jess is going to come over.
He's going to love that.
But I am going to my first Steelers NFL game. I kind of made mention of it before. They're playing the LA Rams in October, and I really splurged on some VIP tickets.
Yeah, good for you. If you're going to go big, right?
It's my first one. And so the reason that it's my first one, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but after your wedding, you took a bunch of people, or a bunch of you went to the Steelers game.
Right, because they were playing the Chargers.
They were playing the Chargers.
And all of our friends from San Diego were here, and it was just kind of perfect. We were going to go see the Steelers and the Chargers play.
Totally worked out that your wedding was that weekend. And I had the opportunity to go. That was like the one opportunity that I had to go. And Dad didn't want to go.
He didn't.
He doesn't like to go to the games.
No, he wants to watch it from his kitchen table.
Yes. And Scotty was also in town for that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay home and watch it with Dad. And that was it was October 4th, 2009. We beat the Chargers.
We sure did.
I have a picture of me and Dad flipping off the camera that I had sent to my Charger fan friends. That was the last football game that I ever got to watch with our dad.
Yep.
And I am so grateful that I never went to that fucking game.
Hell yeah.
I'm so happy about it. But now it's my time.
Your time has come, and you're going to do it in style. So just get ready. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Guys, are you a football fan? Or are you a football widow like Jessie?
Whose side are you on?
We would love to know if you want to tell us in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. And let us know who your team is, too. Who are you cheering for this year if you're a football fan?
Yeah. Who's going to the Super Bowl? I want you guys to call it out right now before anything starts, because we're only in preseason at the moment. So, I mean, the Steelers are 2-0. Not that that means anything.
Means nothing.
I know, but still.
Does that mean they beat the Bills last week?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But again, preseason. So it means nothing. But yeah, if you guys are on YouTube, please leave us a comment. Let us know who your team is and who you think is going to the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll do a giveaway for if somebody gets it right.
Ooh, that'd be super fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a Steelers shirt. But no, I'm kidding. And also, if you are on Apple or Spotify, you can leave a comment, or you can also rate and review, which we would really appreciate to help push us in the algorithms.
Absolutely. So until then, we'll see you next time.
We're UnBadding, baby.
UnBadding, UnBadding, we're UnBadding, baby. We're on a journey, baby. We're UnBadding, baby. We're UnBadding.